Phoenicians like the drive, and that's understandable since it's really hot here and the city is sprawling. Car culture has been systematically impregnated within the Phoenix mindset. However, as the city grows, and especially the downtown area grows denser, it's not really feasible to drive everywhere. Traffic, parking, all of the things that we associate negatively with driving are becoming increasingly prevalent. The smog doesn't help either. There is public transit here, which is run in concert between the city, county, and state, but it has its issues, and its utilization is not where it could be. We spoke with Lars Jacoby, a public information officer for the City of Phoenix Public Transit Department, about some of the issues the city faces in the realm of transit, and how all the parties involved are working to fix them.
Some of the main issues are always funding and where that money is going to come from. So the federal government does provide a large amount of money to fund transit, not just here obviously, but everywhere. But then also Arizona is one of 5 states that does not have a mechanism to fund transit. So, it all goes down to the region. So here in this region, we have a couple different things that we look at, both as a city and as well as a county. So in Maricopa County, there currently is Prop 400, which was preceded by Prop 300, which actually created the RPTA, which is also known as Valley Metro. So we have county funds, federal funds, and then here in Phoenix we also have city funds, which most recently you saw with the passing of Transportation 2050, Prop 104, that funds the expansion of transit here in Phoenix. So funding is always a big issue here, because it's all sales tax driven. If we hit another recession, then we might have to look at cutting services, but right now that's not the case. Everything's looking really good right now. We're just getting ready to expand our bus services here in city in October, pending council approval. One of the things that we've seen, and this just kind of goes back to the T2050 question / answer, is the light rail operates on different hours than bus service. Right. So with that T2050, one of the things that we heard from the public when we did our outreach was, light rail is great, bus is great, but why are they running on different hours? So in October, we have 2 steps coming up. We're going to, and basically the goal of these steps is to make sure that bus service hours match light rail, so that if you take an event, if you take the light rail to an event in downtown Phoenix and then you're taking the light rail back to your park and ride in Tempe or Mesa, wherever, a lot of times the buses aren't going to connect after you go to a Diamondbacks game or whatever. So you do that after October, and it starts in October, where we're going to expand every day by 3 hours, and then eventually in April we'll expand across the board all 7 days of the week to match light rail hours. So that's one of the big things we've heard from the public. And also one of the other challenges that we've heard is when it comes to buying fares. So another mechanism that we are currently looking at is what technology we can use as a city and as a region to make buying fares easier, whether it's an app or those reloadable cards that you'll see in other cities. So those are some of the things that we're exploring right now. We are looking at what we call kind of quote unquote expanding the grid. So, as Phoenix develops population wise, we will expand transit services and options with that. Right now, we offer bus service. It's pretty much, most of it is considered to be south of Jomax. So on the north side, and then of course all the way down to the south end of Phoenix, you have Ahwatukee and some of the other areas out in Laveen that stretch beyond South Mountain. So in Laveen in particular, there's a lack of bus service right now. It's basically you're getting like Baseline and 35th Avenue, and it kind of cuts off, everything kind of cuts off there. Well, this new funding mechanism we have will allow us to extend a lot of routes south and extend Baseline and southern routes and Broadway further west. So really kind of filling out that grid. As our population shifts, so does our transit services. We've already talked a little bit about light rail. We're looking at, in the short term, 2023, we're looking at expanding those 3 areas, but beyond that, we are looking at going out west, going into other cities like Glendale as well, so that we can connect what they consider their cultural and urban centers, like the stadium, with ours. So kind of making it really easy to get from those event type areas in the valley. Transit's not going away. It might, change looks in the future. Rideshare apps like Lyft and Uber really changed the approach, and a lot of what we look at as transit as a whole, that first and last mile, getting to the bus, getting to the light rail from your home and work, and how that rideshare might fit into our transit solutions in the future, something that we're starting to look at now. So it's not going to go anywhere. It's definitely going to keep growing with the region, with the city, and as new advances come along, we are always open to looking at that and how we can get our riders on buses, on the dial-a-ride vehicles, and on light rail.